Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the latest episode of Musical Musings. We air this program every Wednesday at 1 p.m., and it is broadcast to you from our studios here at Rajamacon University of Technology, Peranakan. I'm going to bring this program to you in two parts. For our first part, I'm going to introduce a song to you and its singer. We will talk a little bit about the singer or the band. For this week, it's just going to be a singer. We will talk about the singer a little bit, and we will talk about the song a little bit. Then we're going to listen to the song, and in the second part of the program, we will go through the lyrics. That means the words. We will go through the lyrics of the song, and we will talk about what it means. So we will look at any maybe difficult vocabulary words, if there is any slang in the song or any sayings that we use in English that, don't mean exactly what the words seem like they would mean. So we will talk about any of those type of things to make sure you understand what the lyrics mean. Okay, so that'll be the second part of our program. And then after that, we will have the news and the latest updates from the university.
Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Gary Gray, and I am your host for the Musical Musings program. I'm an American English teacher here at Rajamacon University of Technology, Peranakan. I have been here almost 7 years, and we're going to get going with our program now. So for today's song, we are going to do the song It's a Heartache, which is sung by the singer Bonnie Tyler. Actually, several people have sung this song, but Bonnie Tyler is the most famous one for singing the song. So, Miss Tyler, Bonnie, her real name is actually Gaynor Sullivan. In my notes here, I did not write down her original birth name. She is married. Sullivan is her last name now. I forget what her birth name was. Her first name was Gaynor. That is her birth name. But her last name has changed because she's now married. So she is now Gaynor Sullivan. So that is her real name. She chose to use what we call a stage name. That's when you use a fake name for when you're performing. And a lot of people do that. You can think of lots of famous musicians who do that. Someone like Madonna. Well, she doesn't even use a last name. Do you think that's really her name? I don't even remember what her name is. I would have to look it up. But I know it's not Madonna. Her first name is not Madonna, and she does have a last name. So lots of musicians do that. But Bonnie Tyler did that kind of early on, and so I think a lot of people actually think that that's really her name. And actually, she's gone through a couple of different names. Her original birth name was similar to that of another singer. So she decided to change it, and she changed it to something totally different before she eventually went with Bonnie Tyler. So she's actually gone through a few different names. But Bonnie Tyler, she did come up with it pretty early on in her career. So she was born in 1951 in Wales. You may not know that place. Where is Wales? What is that? Wales is a very small part of Great Britain. Here's a little geography lesson to you. A lot of people think of Great Britain as one country. Great Britain is very weird. Or the United Kingdom. It's also called that. Great Britain and the United Kingdom are the same thing. It's very weird. It's the only country I can think of in the whole world that's made up of other countries. A lot of people talk about Great Britain and England like they're the same thing. They're not. England is just one of the countries within Great Britain. It's the biggest one. It's where London is. But there are actually, I believe, 4 different countries. There's England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. I think there might be 5. I want to say maybe the Channel Islands are considered their own as well. I'm not 100% sure of that, but there may be 5. There are at least 4. Wales is one of them. It's one of the smaller ones, which is why a lot of people have not heard of it. It is in the southwestern part of Great Britain. So, she's British. Now, when you hear her sing, you'll hear her sing without much of an accent, really. A lot of singers are like that. They try to sing in, well, I say not much of an accent. I'm American, so it sounds like no accent to me. So I guess they're singing with an American accent. I'm not sure why most singers like to do that. I like my country. I like my country, but there's nothing special about it. There's no reason why they should all be trying to sing in an accent from my country. But most of them do that. Not all of them. Some bands will sing with their own accent from Britain or Australia or wherever they're from. But most English singing bands will sing in an American accent. I guess maybe it's just because America is the biggest English-speaking country. Maybe that's why, just for the sake of popularity. They are trying to get popular after all. So when you hear her sing her song, It's a Heartache, she's going to sound pretty American. In fact, I'll be honest with you, as much as I like Bonnie Tyler, wonderful of a singer as she is, not until preparing for this program did I know she was British. I actually thought she was American myself. She is British. She is from Wales. And she was born in 1951. She really became famous as a singer in about 1977. So she was about 26. So she was pretty young. There are some singers that get famous like really young, like as soon as they become like into adulthood. So maybe compared to other singers, that might be a little late, but not very. She was still pretty young when she became famous, about 26 years old. Now I mentioned when she got famous because usually in these programs, I'll tell you like when a singer started their career. Well, she started as a backup singer. So she really started her career before then, but it wasn't really a solo career. She wasn't singing by herself. So it's hard to really say when her singing career started. Okay, but in 1977 is really when it got going. And in fact, this song that we're doing today, It's a Heartache, is from 1977. She had a lot of really good songs, but she probably had 2 that she's most well known for. It's a Heartache and Total Eclipse of the Heart. That song came out in 1980. So that was a little later than today's song. So we're going to talk about the song that really got her famous, and it would be It's a Heartache. Again, it came out in 1977, and that's really when she became famous. So a lot of it does have to do with this song. I believe there was one other song, which the name of which I forget, which was on that same album, which also became pretty popular. So some people might debate, whether It's a Heartache was really the song that made her famous. I would say it is, but some people might disagree because there was another pretty big hit she had around the same time. All right, so now I always talk about like what genre of music a singer sings. I always tell you I don't like talking about it because a lot of people will cross over genres. But the reason I do talk about it is because everyone wants to know, usually. Like, okay, what kind of music is that? What kind of music do they sing? What kind of music do they play? All right, so when we're talking about a genre, that's what that means. What kind of music? Like, is it country music, heavy metal music, rock music, jazz music? What is it? Okay, so what type of music she sang was mostly pop music. That's short for popular. And so a lot of times that's kind of like a little bit soft, but not not necessarily too soft. It can be a little bit upbeat sometimes. Although she's mostly known for kind of her sad songs, and you'll see why in a moment. But yeah, mostly pop music. And honestly, I am not that interested in pop music, so I don't like a lot of pop music singers. I do really like Bonnie Tyler because her sound is very unique, and that's what we're going to talk about here briefly. This is why I say she's really famous for kind of her sad songs. Her voice really goes well with songs that are quite sad because she has what's called a raspy voice. What does that mean? What is a raspy voice? It's when your voice is like this. So she's and that's even less common with female singers. So she's a female singer with a raspy voice. So it's very unique, but it kind of has, it almost sounds like painful. So it really goes well with sad songs. That's probably why her two biggest hits are kind of sad songs. It's a Heartache and Total Eclipse of the Heart are both sort of sad songs. And it's probably because of her voice. She sings some upbeat songs, she sings some happy songs, but her voice just goes so well with these sadder songs that they really become very popular. All right, so we're doing one of those songs today. We're doing It's a Heartache. So what is a heartache? What does that mean, first of all? Okay, heart, because your heart, it's heartache. That's like, sounds like you're having a heart attack or something, like something physically wrong with you. No, it's not a physical pain. It's an emotional pain. When you say you have a heartache, that usually means that you've lost someone you love, either through maybe a death, maybe someone you love passed away, or it can be through a breakup. And of course, in musical songs, that's a lot of times what we're talking about. We're talking about people who have relationships. They love someone, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their husband, their wife, whatever, and they break up. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about a breakup. So that's what we talk about when we talk about heartache. It's an emotional pain. Your heart hurts emotionally. Okay, so it's about losing love. And as I said before, it came out in 1977. In some parts of the world, though, including America, where it became really famous, it didn't come out until 1978. And that was a little bit weird because Bonnie Tyler didn't write the song. So a few other singers were doing it as well, including some popular singers. Like Juice Newton, who was pretty famous. Sadly, I think she just passed away within the last year or two. I think within the last year. And Ronnie Spector, also pretty famous. They both were doing the song. So it was a little weird. You had three different people doing the song at the same time. And all three of these people are popular. So it's really kind of like, okay, who's going to win? Which version is going to become the most popular? And because of Bonnie Tyler's voice, again, it's all about her voice. Because of Bonnie Tyler's voice, she kind of won that battle. It wasn't really a battle. I don't think they weren't fighting about it. But in theory, it was kind of like a battle because you're not going to have a song being famous by three different people at the same time. Probably only one of them or none of them are going to get famous from that song. And so with Bonnie Tyler releasing hers a little bit late in America, it was kind of hard for her because that's when Juice Newton and Ronnie Spector came out with their versions of it, also in 1978. In other parts of the world, Bonnie Tyler came out with hers in 1977, so she came out first. So she had kind of a head start with that in some of the other parts of the world. Nonetheless, even in America, her version became the most popular. In fact, I kind of like Juice Newton as well, and I can't even remember her singing this song. I don't remember her even doing a version of Heartache. Everyone knows Bonnie Tyler's version, and it's because of her voice. So, why don't we listen to that voice? Let's get to the song. As I always tell you, for those of you who are joining us on YouTube, we cannot embed the video here. So we're going to give you a link in the upper right-hand corner. So up there. Not sure which side it is. We're going to give you a link in the upper right-hand corner to click on that, and you can go to the official video for Bonnie Tyler, It's a Heartache. Then after the video's done, you can click back on over here where we will go over the lyrics. Anyone else that's just listening to this, like maybe you're listening via streaming, if you're just listening to this, we have no problem just dropping the music into here. We are a radio station. We are allowed to do that. So we can play the music. So everyone else just listening, you should be able to listen just fine. The song will just get dropped in right here. So let's get to this excellent song by Bonnie Tyler.
Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Okay, welcome back. So that is It's a Heartache by Bonnie Tyler. And it is a song about losing love. So let's go through these lyrics. Sometimes I kind of sing the lyrics to you. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that this time, because I certainly can't sing it like she does. But maybe I'll kind of halfway sing it for you here as we go through the lyrics. So we start out with the song, It's a heartache, nothing but a heartache, hit you when it's too late, hit you when you're down. Okay, so what does that mean? All right, so we already talked about what a heartache is. We know what that means. It's when you're sad from losing someone. So what does she mean when she says it hits you when you're too late, hits you when you're down? Okay, it hits you when you're too late. In other words, you know, sometimes when you break up with someone, you just know it's right. It's something you need to do. Especially if it's someone that you actually do get along with. Maybe you break up and become friends after that or something like that. You just know that you got to go your own ways. So when that happens a lot of times, you may not feel that heartbreak right away because you know it's the right thing. You know you're making the right decision. This needs to happen. So when she says it hits you, when we talk about something hitting you, we don't mean actually hitting. We're not hitting you. No. What she means is a feeling comes over you. And it maybe comes over you suddenly. That's why we use the word hit, because boom, it's all of a sudden. So hits you when it's too late. So what that means is that it's hitting you like after the fact. It would be nice if you felt that at the time when you were doing the breakup. Because maybe, you know, you could make another choice, or you could try to work on it, or something like that. Maybe not. Maybe it's the right thing to do. Like I said, a lot of times you'll think about that. But it hits you when it's too late. So, you know, it's all over. Nothing you can do about it. And it hits you when you're down. When we say when you're down, it means you're feeling sad. So you're already alone because you've broken up. So you're already not feeling good. You're already feeling down. And now all of a sudden, this feeling of heartache comes over you. So it's just makes you feel really bad. So again, this is a sad song. Okay, and then we keep on with the song. It's a fool's game, nothing but a fool's game, standing in the cold rain, feeling like a clown. Okay, so it's a fool's game, nothing but a fool's game. What does that mean? Okay, well, sometimes, I tell you this all the time with our songs, sometimes it's hard to know what the lyrics are supposed to mean. Singers and writers do that on purpose. They want the listener to interpret the song for themselves. So I'm not entirely sure what she's saying here. I'm not even sure. And it's okay. But I'm going to tell you what I think she's saying. When she talks about standing in the cold rain and feeling like a clown, you know, standing in the cold rain, we have a saying about getting left out in the rain. That means you're just left standing there. You're left all alone. So again, don't forget, we're talking about a breakup. So this person probably just left her. And that's why it also says feeling like a clown. When you feel like a clown, that means you feel like someone made a fool of you. Someone made you feel like an idiot. So in other words, maybe they cheated on you. So they're the ones that were in the wrong, but then they left you. And so you're like, makes you look like the dumb one, right? Because you let this person cheat on you, you stayed with them, and now they left you. So it could be a situation like that. I mean, they didn't necessarily cheat. It doesn't say that in here. But it's something like that, where they did not treat you well. You stayed with them while they were not treating you well, and then they left you. So now when we back up, that's why it talks about it being a fool's game. Because when we talk about a fool's game, it means something that is kind of useless. That's what that term means when we say it's a fool's game. In other words, because it's a game you can't win. That's why it's a fool's game. A fool is like a stupid person, an idiot, a moron. So a fool's game, it's a game you can't win. It's stupid. Stupid, dumb, foolish, idiotic. You can't win this game. So so what she's talking about is being in this situation where you can't win. It's a fool's game. You can't win. And so that gets us back to standing in the cold rain feeling like a clown, right? Because she did everything she could. She was tolerating being treated badly by this person, and then this person just left. So she's the one that looks bad. Okay? So then we get into the next part. It's a heartache, nothing but a heartache. Love him till your arms break, then he lets you down. Okay. This is pretty easy, right? Especially since it ends with, then he lets you down. Clearly, even though there's some question about interpreting this correctly, I think we're on the right track here, right? Okay. So it's a heartache, nothing but a heartache. Love him till your arms break. So again, she is putting all of her love into this. Loving until your arms break. Basically what that means is you're hugging them and hugging them and hugging them permanently. Now, your arms aren't literally going to break. It just means that what she's saying there is that you're loving them with everything you have. Giving them all of your love. Your arms don't actually break. It's just a saying. Now, honestly, that's not like a typical saying we have in English. This was something the writer of this song just kind of made up. But it's easy enough to understand what they're saying. And it is just a saying. They don't literally mean your arms break. It just means you're hugging them, holding them tight, and giving them all of your love. Okay, and then it says, and then he lets you down. Okay? Yep, then he lets you down. Sorry, had to get back to my lyrics there. Okay, when you talk about someone letting you down, it doesn't mean they're setting you down. It means when they let you down, it means like your spirit, your expectations, your hope gets dropped down. So when someone lets you down, it means they have disappointed you. You were expecting something from them. Like when you give someone all of your love, you probably expect them to love you back. This person did not do that. He let her down. Then he lets you down. Okay, we continue. It ain't right with love to share when you find he doesn't care. It ain't wise to need someone as much as I depended on you. Okay, so here again, I think it's pretty clear. It ain't right with love to share when you find he doesn't care for you. Okay, ain't is just a short way of saying isn't. So it isn't right with love to share. So what they're saying, what she's saying is this whole situation is wrong. It's bad. It's not right. When she talks about having love to share, in other words, she is giving her love. So she has love to share. She's giving her love, but you find he doesn't care for you. Okay? I think that's also pretty clear. That one probably doesn't need a lot of explanation. Basically, he does not love her. Okay? It ain't wise, so it isn't wise. Wise means smart. It isn't wise to need someone as much as I depended on you. So, in other words, she gave too much. She really depended on him. Probably we're talking about emotionally here. I mean, you can depend on someone financially. Like maybe you live with them, they have a job, you don't, so you kind of need their support that way. But probably we're talking about with love, with the relationship, since this whole song is about love. So she's giving all of her love, and she's depending on him to get that back, to make her feel fulfilled, make her feel good emotionally, make her feel loved. All right, so she's saying it's not smart for her to have put herself in that position because she's giving love and not getting it back. So she's depending on him for something he's not giving her. Okay, then we get back to the little bit of the chorus. It's hard to say there's really a chorus here. There's not much that repeats, but there's a little bit of a chorus here, and it's right here. So then we get back to it right here. Oh, it's a heartache, nothing but a heartache. Hit you when it's too late, hit you when you're down. And then she repeats that whole part, actually, all the way through I Depended on You. And then the whole rest of the song actually continues to repeat. It repeats like different sections and doesn't repeat the whole thing. So really that's about it. And that's why I said it's not really a chorus. It's kind of repeating whole sections of the song. So that's really about it. We just go through repeating everything. So if we go back to where I just was there, we say, okay, it's a heartache, nothing but a heartache. Hit you when it's too late, hit you when you're down. It's a fool's game. So we're going back through that same part. Nothing but a fool's game, standing in the cold rain, feeling like a clown. Okay, again, the same part. It ain't right with love to share when you find he doesn't care. It ain't wise to need someone as much as I depended on you. All right, so we've repeated that whole section. But you notice we did leave out part there where it was about love him till your arms break. But then she gets back into that. Oh, it's a heartache, nothing but a heartache. Love him till your arms break, then he lets you down. And then gets back to it's a fool's game, standing in the cold rain, blah, blah, blah. So we're kind of repeating different parts of the song there, but it's all repeating after that. So it's a pretty simple song. That's really about it. It's really almost like there's just this one really big verse. And then we just repeat parts of it all the way through the rest. So it's just one verse. And that's it. And like I said, there's some part here where it might be a little difficult to interpret. Like, for example, when it's saying it hits you when it's too late. I mean, I kind of tried to explain that, but what does she mean it's too late? When you say it's too late, that means you can't do anything about it anymore. Well, I mean, what are you going to do about it? I mean, you're going to be heartbroken anyway because you're breaking up with someone you love, right? So, what does she mean it's too late? There's never a good time for that, right? It's a heartache. It's never a good time. So there are some little bits and pieces here that might be a little tricky to try to interpret what is being meant here. But overall, most of this we can understand pretty easily. It's a song from a woman's perspective, from Bonnie Tyler's perspective. Again, she didn't write the song, so this might not even be this. She might not relate to this at all. This may not be about her life at all. because she didn't write it. But as the singer, it's being sung from her perspective, and it's about a man who clearly did not treat her right. He didn't return the love that she showed. So she showed all kinds of love. Love him till your arms break. She showed him all the love in the world. He did not return that love. And so now they've split up because she's standing in the cold rain. That means that that's the sign that he left her. Again, we have this saying about being left out in the rain. It means being left alone. You get left out in the rain, it means you were left alone. So standing in the cold rain means he left her. And that's why the next line is feeling like a clown, because now she feels like a fool. She feels like an idiot. She gave him all this love, put up with any of the bad things from him, didn't get any of that love in return. So she should be the one leaving him, right? And that's why she feels like a clown, because she should have split. She's the one putting everything into this relationship. He's doing nothing. And then he ends up leaving her. That's what the song's about. And that's why she feels like a fool, as it says. All right, so it's a really beautiful but sad song. And it's really made so much better from the singing of Bonnie Tyler. That's why her version of this really took over. As I told you, 2 other people sang this, Juice Newton, Ronnie Spector. There were others as well that have sung it. And some of them were popular singers. So you would think their version would be quite popular. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know Juice Newton sang this song, and I like Juice Newton. She's not one of my favorite singers. There's a lot of songs by her that I don't know. But I've had some of her albums. I know a fair bit of her music. I didn't know she sang this song. Bonnie Tyler really took over with this song. In fact, if you go online and look up the lyrics for this song, it will say, "It's a Heartache" by Bonnie Tyler. Even though she didn't write the song and several other people sang the song, she is the one that gets credited with this song. So whenever anyone hears "It's a Heartache," they think Bonnie Tyler. So she's really the one that made this song, and it's because of her voice. And she's really famous with these sad songs. As I told you, her other famous song, well, she has more than 2, but her other big famous song, really big song, was Total Eclipse of the Heart, which came out in 1980. So I always recommend to my listeners that they go and listen to some of the other songs by these artists. I try to pick good artists who have many good songs, or at least a few, so that there are other good songs of theirs to go listen to. So, because I don't want you to hear this one song by them that we're playing for our program, and that's it, all done. No more good songs by them. No, I try to pick artists that have multiple good songs. Now, she has several, so I'm only mentioning Total Eclipse of the Heart as one because that's probably her second biggest hit. So I would recommend you to go listen to that song. It's a really good song. It's another sad song. An eclipse is like when the sun gets blocked out by the moon. So it's like, it represents darkness. It doesn't really get that much darker out when that happens, but that's what people think of when they hear the word eclipse. It's like darkness. So total eclipse of the heart means your heart is dark. So again, it's sadness. It's about your heart being sad. It's similar idea here again. So it's another sad song. Okay, and again, that was probably her second most famous song. Some people might even say it was her most famous song. I'd have to go look at where it was in the charts. I think, I'm not even sure. I did not look that up. I think It's a Heartache was a little more popular. But Total Eclipse of the Heart was very popular. So it's possible I could be wrong. It was very popular. So I recommend you go listen to that song from Bonnie Tyler. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for today's Musical Musings program. Please join us next week for another great song, and please also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
Musical.